Hi, folks. We're going to be talking about uh, division and rounding and making an estimation based off of a two-digit divisor. So, something that they're going to be expecting you to understand in this chapter is the idea of compatible numbers. When you're rounding, you have to add another layer of a thought process on top when you're rounding because you have to decide, okay, uh, is there a relationship between these two numbers? So let me give you an example of what I mean. So if you have um, 540 divided by 61, right? So they're going to want you to uh, estimate what this answer might be. And the first step to do that is you're going to round these numbers. In some instances, you're going to round one. In some instances, you're going to have to round both. And it's going to depend on if these numbers can be compatible. And that's going to take an understanding of your basic math facts to be able to do that. So, for example, I see 540 here. I know that 6 is a factor of 54. 6 times 9 gives me 54. So, in my mind, I'm going to see if I can uh, round only this number here, right? So, we 4 or less. So, we left the 6 rest, right? I'm going to see if I can do that first and see if, okay, will this give me a compatible number? Or do I also need to round the other number that we have here? So, because I have a pretty strong grasp of my math facts, I know that 9 times 6 will give me 54. So, there is no shortcut to this. It's going to come down to, do you have that understanding? If you do not know your math facts in and out, that means you need to practice. You need to start doing some multiplication worksheets because multiplication, like I said previously, is going to be the linchpin and everything that you're doing for fifth and sixth grade, basically. So the next step that I would do once I get here is, you see these zeros here? If I want to eliminate as many of these zeros as I can to make this number a little less messy. So if there's a zero on both sides at the end of the number, I'm going to just cross it out. 54 divided by 6. 54 divided by 6 is 9. So the answer here is, you can fit 61 into 540 about 9 times, right? Not exactly 9 times, but we're making a rough estimate. So it's about 9 times. Let's use a different set of numbers. Okay, let's try with 412 divided by 82. So again, our knowledge of our math facts really comes into play here. How can we find a way to relate these numbers? And I think the easiest way to do this is to look at the first two digits in each number and see what kind of relationship you can find between them. So for example, I know that if I multiply 8 by 5, I can get 40. So I'm going to see if I round these numbers, if I can get some kind of uh, approximation that's close to 8 and 40 or 480 or some multiple of that, right? So we have 4, loop over the 1. 1 is 4 or less, so we let the 4 rest, and we add zeros for the remaining digits. We have 400 here, divided by 8. Sorry, 8 over 2, right? Put the hoop over the 2. 4 or less, we let the 8 rest. So now we have 480, right? So what I said before, I know that if I multiply 8 5 times, I'm going to get 40. So what I'm going to do here, I like to get rid of these excess zeros, right? There's this extra zero here. There's an extra zero here. I'm going to get rid of them. I'm not going to get rid of this one because I don't have another zero here. I don't have a zero on the opposite side. to get rid of. So basically, what I'm doing in the background, right, is I'm dividing both of these numbers by 10 to make them smaller and to make them more manageable. The shortcut that I'm using is crossing out the zeros, but what's happening underneath the hood is I am dividing both of those by 10. So we have 40 divided by 8, and that's going to give us 5. So I always say and stress that math usually isn't that difficult once you take a little bit of time to understand the processes. This might be a little bit difficult for you. So I highly stress that you come in during open Zoom throughout the week. Don't wait until Thursday. Come get as much practice as you can with trying to find that relationship between two numbers. Because once you can do that, the rest is pretty self explanatory. I look forward to working with you guys today during small group. So come on in as soon as after you finish watching this, and it's your time for small group.